series, The Law of Causality, The Blueprint of the Universe and Destiny, Chapter 1, Fountainhead of Wisdom, A Journey from Karma to Eastern Philosophy. Estimated reading time. An elderly person looking out a window, a hurried businessman on the street, a farmer planting rice seedlings, scenes of wealth and poverty intercut. Have you ever stood amidst the ebb and flow of life, observing the myriad of different fates, and asked yourself, why is there such a vast difference? Why are some people born at the finish line, yet live a life of emptiness and anxiety? Why do others endure countless storms and adversities, yet radiate an energy of peace and strength that is truly extraordinary? Is it all merely the randomness of creation, a game of chance played by fate? Or, behind the veil of this visible world, is there an invisible law silently at work? A mechanism of absolute justice, an intricate blueprint that governs everything, from the orbit of the galaxies to every beat of our hearts and every fleeting thought in our minds. For thousands of years, in the mystical, spiritual lands of the East, the wisest sages and masters have dedicated their entire lives to contemplating and seeking the answer to this great question. And they all arrived at a common discovery, a truth known by many names, but perhaps the one most familiar to us is the law of cause and effect. But do not rush to think this is merely a simple religious concept, a belief in do good and receive good, do evil and receive evil. That is only the surface of a profound ocean. In this first chapter of our journey, we will dive deep into the very depths of that ocean. We will travel back in time to the cradle of human thought in ancient India to explore the concepts of karma and samsara in Hinduism. Then, we will see how the Buddha inherited and developed this into an incredibly profound psychological and ethical doctrine, with concepts like intention, satana, cause-condition effect, and the ability to transform karma. Finally, we will see the echoes of this law resonate in the other great philosophies of the East, such as Confucianism and Taoism. This is not a religious sermon. This is an exploration of knowledge, a journey to uncover the ancient gems of wisdom that have shaped the worldview of billions. Let us open our hearts, temporarily set aside our preconceptions, and begin the voyage into the fountainhead of wisdom. The sacred Ganges River, sadhus, ascetics, with profound eyes. Narrator, our journey begins at the cradle of spirituality, ancient India. In a society with a clear caste system, the questions of justice and destiny became all the more pressing. The thinkers, the rishis, sages, refused to accept the answer that everything was due to the will of a tyrannical god. They looked deep into the nature of existence, and in the most ancient scriptures like the Vedas, and especially the later Upanishads, they developed a complex philosophical system to explain the cosmos. At its core are two inseparable concepts, samsara, reincarnation, and karma, action. 1.1. Samsara, the ocean of existence, the endless wheel of rebirth. Imagine that your life is not a straight line, beginning at birth and ending permanently at death. Instead, it is a great circle, a giant wheel that turns ceaselessly. That is samsara. In Hindu thought, the individual soul, called the Atman, is considered immortal, a part of Brahman, the universal spirit, the absolute reality. When a physical body perishes, the Atman does not die. It leaves its old shell and, depending on the baggage it carries, will find a new home, a new life. This journey is called rebirth, or reincarnation. This wheel of samsara encompasses countless realms of existence, from the celestial realms full of pleasure, to the human realm, to the animal realm, and even the painful hell realms. Being born into a certain realm, in certain circumstances, rich or poor, healthy or sick, intelligent or ignorant, is not random. It is determined by an invisible but incredibly powerful engine. That engine is Karma. 1.2. Karma, the law of action and reaction. The word karma in Sanskrit literally means action. But it carries a much deeper implication. Karma is a natural, universal law of cause and effect. It is as cold, precise, and objective as Newton's law of universal gravitation. It states, every action, word, and thought you initiate creates an energy, an imprint, and this energy will inevitably return to you in a corresponding form. It is crucial to emphasize. This is not a punishment or reward from a supreme being. There is no God sitting on a throne recording your merits and demerits. Karma is a self-governing law, an intrinsic reaction of the universe itself. If you plant a mango seed, you cannot expect to harvest a durian. If you throw a stone into the air, it will surely fall back down according to the law of gravity. Similarly, an unwholesome action will naturally produce a painful result. Hinduism divides karma into two main types: punya, good karma, merit arises from selfless, wholesome actions such as charity, helping others, and practicing compassion. Punya brings about happy experiences, good fortune, health, and a favorable rebirth. Papa, bad karma, sin arises from selfish, cruel actions such as theft, lying, and harming living beings. Papa leads to suffering, illness, misfortune, and rebirth in lower, more miserable realms. The three layers of karma, a deeper understanding of destiny. To explain the complexities of human destiny, the Hindu sages analyzed karma into three sophisticated layers: Sankita karma, accumulated karma. Imagine this as a giant warehouse, containing all the karma, both good and bad, that you have created from countless past lives up to the present moment. It is your total karmic inventory. Prarabdha karma, fructifying karma. This is a portion of karma taken from the Sankita warehouse to be consumed in the current lifetime. It has ripened. It is prarabdha karma that determines the basic, seemingly unchangeable elements of your current life: the family you are born into, the body you inhabit, your innate talents, and major unavoidable events. It is like the pre-written script for this life's play, Kriyamana karma, current karma. This is the karma you are creating in this very moment, through your thoughts, words, and actions. This is where your free will comes into play. How you react to what prarabdha karma brings you creates new kriyamana karma. This new karma is then added to the Sankita warehouse, eventually becoming prarabdha karma for future lives. This model carries a profound meaning. It explains that while we must accept what fate has dealt us, prarabdha karma, we have the complete power to shape our future through our choices in the present, kriyamana karma. You cannot change the cards you were dealt, but you have full authority over how you play them. 1.4. Moksha, the ultimate goal. Escaping the wheel. The ultimate goal for a spiritual practitioner in Hinduism is not to accumulate a lot of good karma to be reborn in a heavenly realm. Because no matter how blissful, the heavens are still within samsara, still subject to impermanence, and when their merit is exhausted, they can still fall back to lower realms. The ultimate goal is moksha, liberation. Liberation from the endless cycle of rebirth, breaking the wheel of samsara, so that the individual soul, Atman, realizes its true nature and merges permanently with Brahman. To achieve moksha, one must extinguish all karma, both good and bad, because any karma is a chain that binds. The path to achieving this is through knowledge, jnana yoga, selfless action without attachment to results, karma yoga, and sacred devotion, bhakti yoga. Thus, from its very source, the law of cause and effect was not just an explanation for the workings of destiny. It was also a call to action, a map showing the path for humans to transcend that destiny and achieve ultimate freedom. It was from this solid philosophical foundation that a prince named Siddhartha Gautama began his own journey, to later become the Buddha and offer an even more profound and practical perspective on this law. Quantum leap forward, karma and conditions in Buddhism. If Hinduism sketched the map of the law of cause and effect, then Buddhism filled that map with incredibly fine details, transforming it from a cosmological doctrine into a practical psychological tool for liberating oneself from suffering. Right here and now, the Buddha did not deny the concepts of karma and samsara, as he was born and raised in that cultural environment. But in the light of his enlightenment, he saw through the nature of karma with an unprecedented depth. He initiated a revolution in thought by shifting the focus from external actions to internal intention. Satana, intention, the golden key to understanding karma. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha made a definitive statement that completely changed the understanding of karma. It is intention, Satana, O monks, that I call karma. Having intended, one acts through body, speech, and mind. What is intention? It is the volition, the purpose, the driving motive behind an action. This is the crucial difference. Consider the classic example. A surgeon uses a scalpel to cut into a patient's body. A robber uses a knife to stab someone for their money. Both are actions of using a knife on another person, but their intentions are polar opposites. One is the intention to save a life, born from compassion. The other is the intention to harm, born from greed and cruelty. It is this intention that creates karma, not the physical act itself. The surgeon creates wholesome karma, while the robber creates unwholesome karma. If you are walking and accidentally step on an ant without knowing it, that act does not create heavy karma of killing because it lacks the intention to kill. But if you see a spider on the wall, and the thought arises, "How disgusting, I have to kill it," and then you kill it with a slipper. A complete karma of killing has been created, originating from that very thought of aversion. This emphasis on intention gives immense power to human beings. It means that the practice of transforming one's destiny is not about performing grandiose charitable acts externally, but must begin with the purification of one's own mind. The three doors of karmic creation: body, speech, and mind, building on the foundation of intention. Buddhism analyzes that we create karma through three channels, three gateways of interaction with the world. Bodily karma. Actions of the body includes three main unwholesome actions: killing, intentionally taking the life of a living being, from humans to animals; stealing, taking what is not given without permission; sexual misconduct, engaging in illicit sexual relations that cause suffering to oneself and others; verbal karma, speech of the mouth. This is the type of karma we create most easily every day. It includes four main unwholesome actions: lying, musaveda, speaking untruths to benefit oneself or harm others; slanderous speech, Pisyanavaka, speaking to one person about another with malicious intent to cause discord and conflict; harsh speech, Pharisavaka, cursing, insulting, using cruel words to hurt others; idle chatter, Samphapalapa, engaging in gossip, nonsensical talk that brings no benefit and wastes one's own and others' time; mental karma, thoughts of the mind. This is considered the root of all karma, the place where seeds are sown before they manifest in words and actions. The three main unwholesome mental karmas are greed, abhija, desiring and coveting what is not one's own; aversion/ill will, bhayapada, wishing harm, suffering, anger, and hatred upon others; delusion or wrong view, mikaditha, not believing in cause and effect, believing there is no afterlife, no good and evil, living heedlessly without a right ideal. Among these three types, wrong view, delusion, is considered the heaviest karma, because when a person no longer believes in cause and effect, they have no moral barrier to prevent them from committing all other evil deeds. Spiritual practice in Buddhism is, therefore, a process of guarding these three gateways, especially watching over one's own mind. The complete model, cause, condition, effect. Buddhism presents a more complete and scientific model of how karma operates. Cause-a condition-effect, cause, hichu. This is the seed, the primary cause. This is the karma, the action driven by intention that we have sown. For example, you help someone in difficulty, a good cause. Condition, pratyaya. These are the supporting factors, the catalysts. These are the internal and external elements necessary for the cause to develop into an effect. For example, your good cause needs the condition of you later facing difficulties, and the person you helped or someone else appears at the right time to support you. Effect, phala. This is the result, the sweet or bitter fruit that we receive. For example, you receive help when you need it, a good effect. This cause-condition-effect model explains many of the complexities in life that a simple cause-effect model cannot. Why do good people suffer misfortune? It is very possible that this person is currently experiencing the effect of a bad cause sown in the distant past. At the same time, the kind causes they are sowing in the present will surely ripen into good effects in the future, when the right conditions converge. The fact that they face adversity with resilience and without resentment is, in itself, creating new good conditions and causes. Why do evil people still live in prosperity? That person may be enjoying the good effect from wholesome causes they sowed in previous lives. Their old merit has not yet run out. However, the evil causes they are currently sowing are like taking out a huge loan with high interest. When the old merit is exhausted and negative conditions converge, the terrible karmic effect will strike. Understanding conditions gives us tremendous power. We may not be able to change the causes already sown, but we can actively cultivate wholesome conditions, associating with good friends, learning wise teachings, living in a wholesome environment, practicing meditation to calm the mind. This is how we water the good seeds and prevent the bad seeds from having a chance to sprout. Time and the ability to transform karma. Buddhism also points out that the results of karma do not always manifest immediately. There are three types of karmic ripening based on time: immediately effective, dididhamavedaniya, the result ripens in this very lifetime. For example, you deceive someone, and soon after, you are deceived out of your money. Subsequently effective, upapajavedaniya, the result ripens in the next lifetime. Indefinitely effective, aprapariyavedaniya, the result ripens in more distant future lifetimes. This explains why we sometimes do not see immediate justice. But this law never fails. And most importantly, Buddhism offers a message full of hope. We can transform karma. Transforming karma does not mean erasing past karma. A karma, once sown, is never lost. But we can change its power and its result. The venerable monk Thich Thanh Tu used a wonderful analogy. Take a handful of salt, representing bad karma, and put it in a small glass of water, representing a narrow mind, with little merit. The water will become salty and undrinkable. But take that same handful of salt and put it into a great river, representing a vast mind, with deep merit from practice. The river's taste will hardly change. The salt is still there, but its effect has been neutralized. Transforming karma is the process of turning ourselves from a small glass of water into a great river. How? By ceaselessly creating new, extremely wholesome karma, practicing repentance to recognize and purify our faults, developing infinite compassion, practicing meditation to gain wisdom, and performing countless other good deeds. This new wholesome karma will create a powerful energy, preventing the old bad karma from having sufficient conditions to ripen, or if it does ripen, the effect will be very light. This is the ultimate empowerment that the Buddha gave to humanity. You are not a slave to your past. You are the master of your present and the architect of your future. This is from modern masters to better understand the application of the law of cause and effect in daily life. Let us listen to the teachings of the great Zen masters of our time. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. He did not often use the term karmic retribution in a heavy way. Instead, he taught the concept of interbeing. He said, "You cannot be by yourself alone. You have to interbe with every other thing. A sheet of paper contains within it a cloud, the sunshine, the forest, the logger. Everything relies on everything else to exist. When you understand this, you see that harming another living being is harming yourself. Planting a seed of love in another's heart is also watering the seed of love within yourself." This is a very scientific and poetic interpretation of the law of cause and effect. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he always emphasizes compassion as the supreme practice of cause and effect. He said, "If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion." Compassion, according to him, is not pity, but a deep empathy for the suffering of others and the wish to relieve them of that suffering. This is the most powerful wholesome intention, the source of all good karma. The Buddhist wisdom on the law of cause and effect is a priceless treasure. It transforms a seemingly cold cosmic law into a warm spiritual path, full of love and hope, giving each of us the key to unlock the door to freedom from all suffering. Segment 3, Philosophical Echoes, Causality in the Stream of Eastern Thought, Visuals, Transition to Ancient Bamboo Scrolls, Chinese Calligraphy, Images of Confucius and Laozi, and the Ancient Temples and Taoist Monasteries of China. Narrator: The law of cause and effect is not an exclusive concept of Hinduism or Buddhism. It is like a subterranean river, seeping into and enriching the fertile ground of all Eastern thought. Although they did not use the terms karma or engip, the two greatest philosophical schools of China, Confucianism and Taoism, also reflected this law from unique perspectives, focusing more on social order and harmony with nature. Causality in the social order of Confucianism. Confucianism, founded by Confucius, is a worldly doctrine focused on building a stable, harmonious society through morality and ritual. The law of cause and effect in Confucianism is not metaphysical or about reincarnation, but is expressed as a practical law of social ethics. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. This is one of the core teachings of Confucius. It is the golden rule of conduct, a deep understanding of cause and effect in relationships. If you sow the cause of deceit, you will reap the effect of mistrust. If you sow the cause of respect, you will reap the effect of being respected by others. Confucius understood that a society can only be sustainable when each individual is aware of the consequences of their actions on others. The concept of the mandate of heaven. Confucianism believes in the mandate of heaven. But this mandate is not a rigid destiny. It is tied to the morality of the ruler. A virtuous king who cares for his people, good cause, will be supported by heaven, and the country will be peaceful and prosperous, good effect. Conversely, a tyrannical, debauched, and immoral king, bad cause, will lose the mandate of heaven, leading to natural disasters, chaos, and eventually, his overthrow, bad effect. This is a form of collective cause and effect applied to the nation, ancestral merit. Confucianism also emphasizes the concept of accumulating virtue. A family or a lineage that has done good deeds and lived morally for many generations, good cause, will accumulate virtue, and their descendants will enjoy blessings, intelligence, and success, good effect. Conversely, committing immoral acts will leave a curse for future generations. Although not explained by reincarnation, this is clearly an expression of belief in the continuity and inheritance of cause and effect across generations. Causality in Confucianism, therefore, serves as a moral compass for building personal character, harmony within the family, and stability in society. Causality in the natural harmony of Taoism. If Confucianism views causality through the lens of society, Taoism, represented by Laozi and Zhuangzi, views it through the lens of nature and the cosmos. Following the Tao, the central concept of Taoism is the Tao, the way. The Tao is the natural law, the order of the universe, formless, nameless, yet all-encompassing. Acting in harmony with the Tao, called Wu Wei, effortless action, non-striving, like flowing water or drifting clouds, will lead to a perfect, natural result, good effect. Conversely, acting against the law of the Tao, trying to impose one's subjective will on reality, striving, will create resistance, tension, and failure, bad effect. For example, a tree does not try to grow. It simply absorbs sunlight, water, and nutrients, growing in harmony with nature. That is Wu Wei. When humans are overly ambitious, calculating, and scheming, they are going against nature, creating their own suffering. Sowing the cause of resisting the Tao will reap the effect of exhaustion and vexation, the transformation of misfortune and fortune. The Tao Te Ching by Laozi states, "Misfortune is what fortune leans upon, fortune is where misfortune hides." This is a profound, dialectical view of cause and effect. It shows that cause and effect are not two separate extremes, but are always transforming and dependent on each other. A great success, fortune, can sow the cause of complacency and arrogance, which then leads to failure, misfortune. A disaster, misfortune, can be the condition for us to awaken, become humble, and strive harder, thereby achieving greater success, fortune. This perspective helps people maintain equanimity in the face of life's ups and downs. In summary, whether expressed through different languages and conceptual systems, from the metaphysical karma of Hinduism, the psychological karma of Buddhism, to the moral order of Confucianism and the natural law of Taoism, the entire Eastern civilization shares a core belief: nothing is random. Everything follows a deep order of cause and effect. And most importantly, humans always have an active role in shaping their own outcomes. Interim conclusion for Chapter 1. We have just completed the first leg of our journey to decode the law of cause and effect. We have traveled back in time, listening to the voices of the great wisdom keepers of the East. We have seen that the law of cause and effect is not just a simple belief, but an incredibly vast and sophisticated system of philosophy, psychology, and ethics. It offers us an explanation for the diversity of fates, but more importantly, It gives us a moral compass and an inner strength. It asserts that every thought we nurture, every word we speak, every action we take, no matter how small, is a seed being sown into the soil of the universe. And certainly, one day, we will reap exactly what we have sown, but perhaps, a question is arising in your mind. Are these just the thoughts of the East, a product of a specific culture? What did the great thinkers of the West, with their tradition of logical and rational thought, think about this law? And an even bigger question in the 21st century, does modern science, from the laws of physics that govern the galaxies to the discoveries about the human genome and brain, find any evidence that this invisible law of cause and effect truly exists? The answer may astonish you. We invite you to join us for Chapter 2 of our series, The Law of Cause and Effect, an unexpected encounter between Western philosophy and modern science.